Oh yeah, I got it. Watch this last time. Alright. Here we go. Hold up. I'm gonna get all I can right here on this, get all I can on the, alright, right. Alright. See
Except the quadruple the price for delivery overnight, and everyone's hands would be tied. We'd be able to do nothing about it. There would be no competition. I'm not saying that's Amazon's plan, but it wouldn't be a good idea to put ourselves in that position.
Remingled into the world, and now the WHO says it's gonna spread like wildfire.
I wonder how this happened.
Yeah, how did this happen? How did this happen? It couldn't be the devil worshiping sons of bitches that control the world, could it?
And what shut down the world a few years ago, infecting up to 1 in 3
How did
people.
this
how did this
3,000
happen?
more of those exposed passengers are about to walk.
How is it black?
Haunting reports show the norovirus can survive on every surface for weeks at a time. Handrails, doorknobs, to even restaurant utensils, even after cleaning. And once you get it, there's no cure. Meaning every passenger walking off the ship will leave behind a trap within everything that they touch on their way home. But it gets much worse, as a person infected with norovirus can keep shedding it up to 2 weeks even after recovery. And for the elderly, the immunocompromised, and children, norovirus does not just pass, it can end them. However, most healthy adults should be fine and are able to get through it.
If most healthy adults should be fine and will be able to get through it, then that makes a lot of sense why this isn't the only ship right now that's contaminated. It would have been too easy for people to view this and see things in a similar light as how they saw them in 2020. But this other mess they're talking about has a crazy mortality rate. So of course that's the one they want everyone focused on, so it makes sense why we haven't heard of this other boat until today. Or at least I haven't heard about it until today. But with that many people on board and that many people verified as being sick, you would think that would be the focus. But they don't want everyone's attention on something that they're not going to get scared over.
Patient Zero, and the latest update being that this actually didn't start on the cruise, and that's what they're telling us. Meet Leo Scapirod. He is an ornithologist. The organization has refused to name Patient Zero, and I get it, but the world has now found out and is now describing this man as the first person. This was that Dutch person on the cruise who passed away, whose wife wasn't allowed to leave showing symptoms, then got other people infected. Before ever stepping foot on this cruise, him and his wife for months traveled through South America bird watching. They are experienced bird watchers. Because of what we've learned about this man being Patient Zero, it is apparently this bird's fault we are all in this situation. After touring South America looking for all these birds, they then step foot on this cruise ship. That was on April 1st. They then go on this amazing cruise through Uruguay, Chile, Argentina. Now saying they are trying to figure out if it was in Argentina or Chile where this infection happened. Well, they researched that. I'm going to tell you it happened in Patagonia. Because what can be found in Patagonia? This bird. Remember the one I said probably started it all. This is Darwin's caracara. How do you get to see this bird? You get to go to a landfill. Not just any landfill, a really bad one. One that is known to be infested with rodents, specifically pygmy rice rats. Wait for it. These rats are the only ones known to carry the Andes strain that is human to human. So you're telling me a guy on a cruise ship from people around the world was bird watching, ends up in a spot that is known to have the only strain of the virus spread human to human? Yes, and we believe this because bird watchers will tell you they are known to spend a lot of time in these disgusting places. Even in beautiful Patagonia, this is where these birds go to eat these rodents. Did this couple get to see this bird? We don't care, because bird watching is now the least of our problems. He then gets back on this cruise ship with his wife, continue on their way, and by April 11th, he has succumbed to this virus. This man passes away on the cruise, but they're saying he contracted this somewhere else besides the cruise. His wife is then let off of the cruise 13 days later and is experiencing gastrointestinal symptoms, which if you've ever had the flu, COVID, this virus, you know how bad those symptoms can be. However, they just let her go with people with her to help accompany her to her destination. Wife never makes it to, because on the flight after getting off of the cruise, health deteriorates so bad she is immediately sent to the hospital, where 48 hours from her stepping off of that cruise with a little bit of loose bowels is no longer with us. 2 days that happens. And it is at this point they still don't realize that this is the human to human strain. Still think it's the virus where you just got to be around the rodents. Apparently there's got to be rodents on this cruise. Find no rodents. Realize this is a lot more serious than what they thought it was, and people start putting on hazmat suits. But it's too late, because his wife didn't have a hazmat suit on. The people who were with her didn't have hazmat suits on. They just exposed everyone on that plane ride to it. The person who was with her, I believe, is the first non-cruise related person who then gets the virus. This was the first 8 cases. As of today, these are the countries actively monitoring, because remember, everyone on that cruise was allowed to get off, and that was a cruise full of people from all over the world. While they are still telling us, guys, don't worry, this is not that big of a deal, because this virus is so efficient, over 40% of the people who get infected with it don't even survive. So the chances of people getting infected and continuing to infect people are slim, because they don't make it. Except for the unlucky people on this cruise ship who were literally stuck for weeks with people who had the human-to-human strain of this virus.
Things are not looking good, but I keep waiting for this story to change, for their narrative to shift. Because right now they are trying to push this idea of nothing to worry about, but they're constantly talking about this story in the media. That is the future we have in store for us.
What actually kind of intrigued me more, Natalia, about what you said is a colleague told me that there was 100,000 articles written around the world.
Feels like something fishy is going on, doesn't it?
If you think that the push for E15 in the US is bad, you need to see the global playbook. This isn't just a local issue, it's a coordinated agenda, and your engines are paying the price. Take India for an example. They just hit E20, 20% ethanol. 5 years ahead of schedule, drivers are already reporting rough idling and their mileage is tanking. It makes sense though. Ethanol burns 33% less than gasoline. You're paying the same price, but you drive fewer miles. Not for us. Protect your engine, read your manuals, and watch what's...
Yeah. Alright, so let's just watch a video here on Project Bluebeam, get a base here because alright, here we go. Warning caps on.
What if the greatest threat to our world isn't a virus or nuclear war, but an illusion so convincing that every eye on Earth believes it is real? What if across every continent, every faith, and every culture, people see their most sacred figure dancing through the clouds, only to discover that what they witnessed was nothing but a carefully engineered lie? This is the story of Project Bluebeam, a conspiracy theory born in the mind of one man and spread through whispers of secret societies and rumors of advanced technology. Serge Monast was not always a conspiracist. Born in Quebec in 1945, he began his career writing poems and essays, covering politics for local newspapers, and exploring the fringes of social credit theory. In the early 1990s, after founding the International Free Press Agency, Monast turned his attention to a far darker subject, the New World Order. Inspired by the naval intelligence officer William Guy Carr, he believed that unseen masters were pulling strings behind world events. Monast's book, Project Bluebeam, NASA, published in the mid-1990s, claimed that NASA itself would spearhead a series of events so terrifying and so breathtaking that every human being would kneel before a single, unified deity. Monast first predicted the plan's enactment in 1983. When nothing happened, he reset his clock to 1995, then to 1996, and finally to the year 2000. His followers shrugged off each failure of timing, arguing that the conspirators had only delayed their timetable, not abandoned it. Despite these missed deadlines, Monast spoke at UFO conventions and on the TV show Esoterism Experimental, cultivating a small but fervent audience that believed the plan was ongoing, hidden in every piece of advanced technology. At the heart of Project Blue Beam are 4 stages of psychological warfare. The first stage involves engineered archaeology. Monast claimed that under the guise of new seismic research, secret weapons would trigger earthquakes at ancient sites around the world. Out of the crumbled ruins, newly discovered artifacts, fake relics designed to rewrite human history, would surface. According to Monast, these findings would discredit every major religion, idols would be exposed as frauds, sacred texts would be recast as errors, and millions of believers would lose their spiritual foundation overnight. Hollywood had already prepared us for such revelations, Monast argued. Films like 2001: A Space Odyssey and Indiana Jones had conditioned audiences to expect that buried mysteries would upend everything we thought we knew about ourselves. The second stage is the Piece de Resistance, a global holographic spectacle. Imagine satellites and ground-based laser platforms working in unison to project 3-dimensional images across the sky. In Jerusalem, worshippers would see the Jewish Messiah. In Mecca, pilgrims would witness the voice of Allah ringing out from the heavens. In Rome, the figure of Christ would float above the Vatican. Then, in an act of cosmic unity, all these deities would merge into one, forming what Monast called the electronic Antichrist. He claimed that Soviet computing power would weave complex, personalized illusions tailored to each individual's brainwave patterns, ensuring that the apparition felt as real as your own heartbeat. In this moment of shared astonishment and terror, the stage would be set for the ultimate power grab. The world would cry out for salvation, and a single, centralized authority would answer. Stage 3 amplifies the assault from spectacle to subversion, tele-electro-brainwashing. Monast described satellites emitting extremely low-frequency radio waves that could communicate directly with the human brain. These ELF transmissions, he said, would carry voices, messages from the new deity, speaking personally to each listener. Dismissive skeptics, Monast warned, would be caught off guard when the Messiah spoke in their minds at night, giving them no time to resist. Although mainstream science regards this as fantasy, experiments like the so-called microwave auditory effect lend a chilling hint of plausibility. In documented tests, subjects have reported hearing voices simulated by directed radio waves. Monast seized on these fringe findings to claim that perfectly targeted neural messaging was within reach of shadowy government agencies. The fourth and final stage is a 3-part crescendo of engineered panic. First, a propaganda blitz overwhelms every news outlet and social feed with reports of an alien invasion. Doctored footage, staged eyewitnesses, and fake testimonials fueling mass terror. Next, a secret ground-based machine will simulate a rapture, lifting chosen individuals into the sky in a live-streamed spectacle that convinces millions Scripture has come to pass. Finally, every modern device, from TVs to smart appliances, will simultaneously display grotesque visions, crimson skies, demonic faces, and cosmic symbols. Monast warned that this synchronized assault would shatter social cohesion, driving terrified populations to beg for a guiding hand.
Anyway, yeah,
At
wait,
that
I
desperate
guess we're
moment,
good. So, yeah, there's that. Let's see. What's going on? Yo, that Snakeo noticed there's a porn category for everyone except Jews. Black women, ebony, BBC, white, everything. Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Oh,
here in the Four Corners area, and first called the mystery illness.
no.
Overnight, the traps caught 4 mice. Health department technicians hoped for more, but with traps still in the field today, they may get additional specimens. This Colorado health team is part of the nationwide effort to learn more about the hantavirus, first identified earlier this year in the Four Corners area and first called the mystery illness. Health experts say residents of areas where people have died or gotten sick with the virus needn't panic.
I don't think there's any need for fear or real worry in that respect, but they do need to be aware that there's a hazard and do whatever they need to do to take care of that. When they're cleaning, there's been a lot of mice, and this is specifically mice.
Mice trapped at and near the home of the Craig woman who recovered from the virus are being extensively studied. Blood and internal organ specimens will be sent to the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, and doctors who've treated patients struck down by the illness want to know as much as they can, as fast as they can. In Craig, Dr. Tom Told first treated the patient here.
The x-rays on her chest just turned immediately bad. I mean, it was from a normal x-ray to an immediately severe case of respiratory distress.
He believes prompt diagnosis of his patient's illness and her own strong immune system
Yeah, fucking Giants. How dare you wear a fucking bear flag if he is. Yeah. Shame, buddy. Well. Anyway, yeah, I believe that's what's probably we're getting ready to go through. I said this year. What was it they were saying about the whoa?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. In this video, I'm going to take you guys over to Germany. You guys are going to see something go down behind this building here. This is not an airport. This was some sort of a either covert plane that was very, very quiet, or it was a UAP. It was definitely unidentifiable, whatever it was that was sent in by Betty, once again, out of Germany. But first, a quick look at the sun, looking at the Earth-facing side of the sun. Obviously, the only part we can see, the coronal hole that's facing the Earth, the equatorial coronal hole, is getting bigger by the day. This thing is now over 300,000 miles long, and we should be receiving some high-speed solar wind from that massive opening any hour now. Right now, looking at the planetary K index, everything is all quiet, but that could change very, very quickly. Looking at the GOES X-ray flux, this would show us any solar flares that we've had in the last 72 hours. And as of right now, things are pretty quiet. Looking at the Schumann resonance, not so quiet over there. There was a strong resonance detected early this morning, and it lasted the better part of 6 hours with multiple spikes of 50 hertz. And also, I wanted to touch base on a video I received a couple of days ago from Sean. This video was out of Camarillo, California, taken at 8:59 p.m. on 5/5 of 2026. This was indeed a SpaceX rocket launch. When I originally shared the video, I wasn't sure where it was from because this video came in two parts. It came with the original video you saw right here with just Sean's name on it, and then the Camarillo, California, and all the details were in like a screenshot in a separate correspondence. So sometimes, like this time, when a video is submitted in two parts, the two parts may not come together. So I didn't know there was a second part to the video, but that makes sense now. It did look like a rocket launch, but wasn't sure. Once again, that was a confirmed SpaceX rocket launch off the coast of California. This here is an unconfirmed object video sent in by Betty, Undercover 59 of 2026. Check this out. She couldn't help but notice this very large craft coming in very quietly behind the tree line over there. This was way too big to be a drone. It was not an airplane. That's what compelled her to take the video, and definitely not a helicopter. It landed back here, and again, there's no city over here. You can tell there's no lights. It's pitch black. She was very surprised at the sheer size of that thing. Where did it come from, and where was it going? That's video number 1. And here's video number 2. I zoomed in and I modified the lighting just a little bit. I was trying to pull forward any possible wings or tail fins, anything that we may recognize, and it just wasn't possible. Sometimes with nighttime videos, that's not possible, and this was one of those times. You can see this was about as far as I could go without the pixelation taking over the entire video, but you can definitely see this was indeed a large craft, very quiet craft, landing in Germany. It was a very stealth craft. Don't know if this was of otherworldly origins or if this was some sort of a man-made object. Either way, it did appear to be under intelligent control. Coming over here to the homepage of the website, today's feature photo was sent in by Chris. Sky here, loaded with personality. Once again, photos sent in by Chris. If you guys have any photos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports at MrMBB333.com. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.
Four years ago, this post would have gotten you erased from the entire internet, banned from the entire banking system, fired from your job, and blackballed from future employment in the Fortune 500. So what's the post? Last week,
Like, see if you could pull up one and see how many. Look, I'm 30 years old. Not one of my friends has children. Zero. No one. No one's having kids. Do you know how hard you need to abuse a mammal to make them not have children? Like, look, GDP goes up. People have have enough food, you know, and whatever. No one's having kids, and this is across the world. This is across both the West, the East, you know, everywhere it's happening. So why do I not have kids? And the answer to that is I don't really know. This is the weird thing. So there's a thing that happens, especially with younger like even younger than me. Like the kids are like 18 today. There's a huge problem where they don't dance. No one dances. They go to clubs and they don't dance. Why is this? Because you get recorded. Yeah. If you're an 18-year-old kid, you go to a club, you get recorded. If you approach a girl and you mess it up, you get recorded. Everything is panopticon now. So if you had to ask me why, my answer is technology. My answer is social media. My answer is AI. My answer is algorithms. Right. I think there's a deep thing where we as a society have not dealt with the fact that we have to steward technology responsibly.
So there's one mammal that is the most utilized by the military, and that's dolphins. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that the military was using them.
Yeah, they use those as patrols, assassins, and they speak in a hypersonic tone. You know, the universe is built on sound, light, and frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And what creatures on the planet will have the most history about this planet? Those that live in the water. Dolphins live to 100, whales to 300.
Right.
And you ever heard about ladies having water births?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In ancient African times, they used to do this around dolphins because the dolphins are able to communicate with us.
Right.
And there's a lost batch of history on this planet. We are species with amnesia. If you can communicate with them, you get the answers.
Right. Just like there's this clip where this dolphin knows that the dolphin will take the lady.
Absolutely.
Because she knew she was pregnant.
Absolutely. Dolphins kill great white sharks. Dolphins murder for fun. Nobody knows where dolphins even came from, though. Because 90% of the species that ever existed on this planet are dead. Dolphins have been around since pre-Cretaceous time. Unchanged.
Why is it illegal to talk to the dolphins?
Leo Bonhart, the man witchers feared more than monsters. And for good reason. Even Netflix couldn't ruin this character. Let's take a closer look at his story, and why his name alone struck fear into anyone across the continent. Bonhart killed 3 witchers from the school of the cat, the wolf, and the griffin. He kept their medallions as trophies, hanging them from his neck. Every one of them was a silent reminder. Even witchers can bleed. Despite his cruelty, Bonhart wasn't a criminal. He worked for Nilfgaard, hired by Stefan Skellen to hunt Ciri and destroy the rats. He killed without mercy and got paid for it. In books, Bonhart found the rats before dawn. 6 killers all dead before they could draw a blade. When the city woke up, the streets were silent. No more laughter, no more rats. Only cages swinging in the wind. Bonhart didn't want Ciri dead, he wanted her broken. He caged her, starved her, and made her fight for strangers' amusement. He said he was teaching her discipline, but what he really taught her was hate. Bonhart liked it there. Leo Bonhart wasn't a monster. He was proof that sometimes the scariest monsters are human.
What would you tell?
I was in George Washington's slave quarters. By the way, the first thing you do when you walk into George Washington's slave quarters is you go, ooh. Somehow worse than I thought they were going to be. It's rough, dude. That guy had a fucking dungeon. For real, you didn't know? I'm in there, and I'm by myself, and I'm like, you know, you remember that time, it was a tense fucking time in this country, and I'm in there by myself like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then I hear some footsteps coming down the path behind me, and now blocking the only exit of the room was a slave reenactor. They have those there. And he did not break character. I turned around, he was like, oh, well, hello there, sir. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, please, you don't have to do the character. I'd give anything for you to not do that character. He didn't break. He was like, look at those clothes. You must be from the future. Hello, time traveler. I was like, no, I'm from right now. What are you doing now? Come here. No, I did not say that. I didn't say that. I was in George Washington's slave quarters. By the way, the first thing you do when you walk into George Washington's slave quarters is you go,
I'm an AI.
So I first watched this when I was like 8, 9, maybe 10.
That was drain pipe that flag was put on. People don't know that. We had no pole for a flag. We didn't know anything about a flag going up on the mountain. So they found this drain pipe and they put it together. And the Japanese used it to get rainwater down in the cave. They couldn't purify it like we did. We purified our water. Didn't taste too good, but it was pure. And when we get up to the crest and stand there, it goes up. Man, it was a shock. And everybody saw that flag go up out in the bay. All those ships out there let go in the air with tracers and rockets. It was just like a spectacle. It infuriated the Japanese. They fought twice as hard. We put our flag on Japanese soil for the first time in history.
How far were you from that flag?
Well, from here, that picture on the wall.
That's incredible.
That was drain pipe that flag was put on. People don't know that. We had no pole for a flag. We didn't know.
Would you take 50 grand in
At my tech startup, I give a
Bravo Delta, why are you climbing?
We were just about to call you. We're experiencing moderate chop and unable to hold altitude to Bravo Delta.
That's not moderate. Descend to 4,000 immediately. Traffic alert. 11 o'clock, 4 miles. Citation or make it a Gulfstream of 5.
We're descending to 4,000 to Bravo Delta.
We got moderate chop, sir. If you can't maintain altitude, that's not moderate. That's severe turbulence. Are you experiencing severe turbulence? 2 Bravo Delta, are you experiencing severe turbulence?
Affirmative,
sir. Can you give us a better heading? 938, traffic off your right at the corporate jet. Indicating 3,800. They're unable to maintain altitude, just showing 3,600 feet now.
Yeah, okay, we've been listening to her. We are IMC, sir.
Number 2 Bravo Delta, any injuries?
No injuries as of now, but we're still experiencing severe turbulence to Bravo Delta.
Number 2 Bravo Delta, turn right 040.
Right 040 to Bravo Delta.
Bravo Delta, why are you climbing?
We were just about to call you. We're experiencing moderate chop and unable to hold altitude to Bravo Delta.
That's not moderate. Descend to 4,000.
As a game dev, I've always had a dream to chase.
One to the kidney, 2 to the dome. That's left, right, go. Got a rollie for the brunch and a panic for the show. That's left, right, go. Got a big new body and a whip it like a pro. One to the
I just want to be clear.
Wait, how long would it take to get my hair back? I thought it would take years.
So, who really didn't see this coming? When it comes to the hantavirus, it seems like news and media, they are trying to slowly get us mentally prepared that it may be more contagious than previously thought. Technically, something you're only supposed to get from rats breathing in their feces and urine. What is considered to be ultra rare between the span of 1993 and 2026, 33 years, there's only been 890 cases reported. But now, again, they are slowly trying to make it seem like, well, let's first take a look at a couple of things. For example, this article from NBC, which I believe was published today, is titled Hantavirus in the US, How Easily Does the Andes Strain Spread? Scrolling down a little bit into the article, I want to go to this part right here where it says, it has been assumed that the virus is contagious only if someone is in close contact with someone who's having symptoms. Some experts now suggest it's possible it may be more contagious than thought. A doctor from Harvard University was quoted as saying, "What we're hearing now, including from the doctors who were on the ship, is that at least a few people contracted it without that long, prolonged exposure that we've always assumed." So what they're hinting to, I guess, is that it mutated and is no longer playing by the rules that is normally seen in this Andes strain. But then the article goes on to say it's also possible that the virus can spread between people if they are physically close to one another for an extended period of time. The CDC tends to define that as being within 6 feet of another person for longer than 15 minutes. Where have we heard that once before? 6 feet apart. And outside of this article, I saw this.
From that earlier outbreak, which was on land, it's presented in the New England Journal of Medicine,
The first set of human-to-human transmission with this exact virus happened at a birthday party. And at that birthday party, which was only 90 minutes,